On a night when the WNBA's biggest stars shared a single stage, a single wardrobe choice put their future in the spotlight.
There's not going to be another time this year before the CBA gets done that we're all together like this. You have to take advantage of those because it doesn't happen often.
Despite winning All-Star MVP, the Lynx' Napheesa Collier spent most of her time post-game talking about that pre-game statement.
We feel like we are owed a piece of that pie that we helped to create. So that's basically what that is.
I love that slogan, pay us what you owe us. It is the case. They're not asking for charity. They're not asking for a handout. They're saying, look, we've built up a business for you. We're the ones that people are coming to see. Pay us for doing that.
David Berry is a professor of economics at Southern Utah University who's spent the past decade tracking the WNBA's pay disparity.
WNBA players get less than 7% of their revenue. The top salary in the WNBA right now is less than $250,000. The NBA 50 years ago was paying its top players $400,000 a year. And that was in a league, the NBA only had $30 million in revenue 50 years ago. The WNBA has $300 million in revenue. We also know that with the new television deal, it'll be at least $500 million.
We want a fair and reasonable percentage of that.
What would that look like?
That's a great question. Fairly depends on how much revenue does the WNBA have. Now, if it's $500 million and the players get half, like the NBA does, if there's $250 million to split up and you have less than 250 people, the average has to be more than $1 million per player.
NBA owners, who still control more than half of WNBA teams, have long countered that the women's game is still losing money, something Berry and many others openly question.
There is no evidence the WNBA doesn't make money. They never open their financial books and say, hey, we're not making any money. They don't say that. They just assert it, even though that's not believable because revenues have exploded.
And he says revenues aren't even the most compelling argument.
You have all these cities lining up wanting expansion franchises. So you have these huge increase in franchise values. The investors are putting money into this. How can you claim they're not making? Why are the investors investing then?
And a telling sign of that growing skepticism came after the All-Star game, when fans interrupted the commissioner with "pay them" chants during Collier's trophy presentation.
The fans doing that chant, that was like gave me chills.
That's a very good sign because that's what the women did in soccer. They got the fans behind them. And you got to get the fans on your side so that when the NBA makes their argument, nobody's agreeing with them.
Yep. Everything he said. Also, according to the league, we've got more statistics for you. Viewership, it's up 23%. Attendance at games, up 26%. Merchandise sales are exploding. They're up 40% and climbing by the minute.
And one more thing to point out, expansion fees, Jana. Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly are all adding new teams by 2030 and each paying a record $250 million in an expansion fee. That's 5 times as much as the $50 million paid by the Golden State Valkyries, which joined the league this year. But here's the thing, Golden State, it's already valued at $500 million, 10 times that fee. That is what David is talking about.
I like how you said fee there, like big fee, not the little one. Yeah, the numbers don't lie. Investors don't just throw money away and light it on fire. They see the future, and we'll see what the WNBA does because they're on the clock with these players.
We'll see.
Thanks, Kent.